Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome. It's that time of the weekend. If you're a regular, you know what it means. It's the doubleheader of Weekend Warriors, kicking things off for the Formula 4s. You've not joined us before. Welcome along to the show. I'm Tim Cox. We've got no Charles Michelle this week. He's taking him more about covering a charity race, which is just, we'll let him off for that one. Josh Wilkie in the virtual production trailer as always, bringing us all the key action out on track. And oh, what a season it's been. Round 10 already. Where's it gone as we head down under this iconic circuit? Always delivers on the action when it comes to the Weekend Warriors, that is for sure. But let's have a look at the championship standings before we get underway here today. Truly qualifying just ongoing in the background right now. First off, let's have a look at the Spec 1 category. Christian Kabanka, well, he's been so dominant this season, and that is why he leads the championship standings, having amassed so far 5 wins from the previous 9 rounds that we've had, with an average of, look at that, just under 100 points per round. Jason Green in second, of course, him and Overstreet both taking the first 2 championships of this brand new season, championship itself. With they've all been relatively newer to iRacing. Michael McConnell still with a shout though of getting himself into the podium spots in the overall standings though. This is only 40 points behind Overstreet. Thomas Renders, he lies in 5th with Jacobson in 6th. Alessandrini, previous race runner, back at Motorsport in round 4, not with us tonight though. He's 7th with Amanda. Matt Zerbs, who's returning tonight, and Josh Soto running at your top 10. Let's have a little cross look into Spec 2 now, and Benjamin Harris. Well, what a season he is having. Well, it's fallen by the wayside a little bit of late. Hasn't won since round 6 at Mid-Ohio, with wins coming from Witchard, who's won both the last 2 rounds, and Harris has only managed second. Interestingly, last 2 podiums have been exactly the same, with Witchard, Harris and Staino taking first, second and third at Interlagos, and then Okayama. Jesse Bottas, this has been Mr. Consistent, lies in second and finds himself only 22 points behind Harris. Paul Stevens in third, only 4 points behind Bottas, with Jess Saunders in 4th. Fernandez in 5th. Staino, who we mentioned about, with those 2 places in a row for Bruges, In 7th, I'm taking his his first ever win in the series back at Willow Springs. Scriven, Montgomery, and Rick Wishin round out the top 10 there. Across now into Masters, and well, not quite as tight as Spec 2, but certainly looking close in these last stages. Not for first, Jorg Marni setting his dominance, nearly 100 points clear of Andergassis in 2nd place. In fact, Marni, I mean, he's managed, how many is this? 5. So the same as Kabanka in the previous 9 rounds, including 3 third overalls. That's impressive stats. Richard Coffey lies in 3rd. He's only managed 3rd place as his best result this season, but yet finds himself third in the championship. But he's only 2 points ahead of Antonio Reis, who has won overall this season. He won the first 2 rounds, but hasn't won since. Chris Murakami in 5th, then it's series organiser Stevie Ray. John Toms, Jim Brewster, who after having a flying season last year, finds himself down in 8th. Gary Walbolt and Tom Laurie going to round out the top 10 in Masters. But let's get stuck into qualifying. Always the draft track around here. I can tell you, provisional pole sitter is Christian Kabanka. Got 4 minutes left on the clock. There he is coming through the field. A really, really treacherous track, this one. These cars love to drift, and you can see plenty of that. Now, that's going to help in the highest speed corners where you really need to turn the car in, and of course, not having any downforce to aid and abet you. But also, some really tight and tricky corners requiring strong change of direction. I think this is going to be absolutely entertaining nonetheless. Jason Green, he's going to join him in the front row as things stand at the moment. Marni, top of Masters qualifying. Not really a surprise, he's leading the championship. And Harris, your top qualifier in Spec 2, also leading his championship in Spec 2. Chris Simpson, newcomer. Interesting to see how he gets on. 5,000 I rating. In fact, to, drop below, well, I was going to say 2.5k. There we go, but we're going to include you in that one at 2,493. But, yeah, to drop below 2.5k, you have to go down to 11th, being Simon Bourne. Even then, he's 2.4. It's a strong field near the front, as always. Kabanka just heading across the line there. No improvement from him, but an improvement from Marni, who catapults himself up to 2nd. And the front row of the grid, as things stand at the moment, Antonio Reis improving as well, just moving inside that top 10, only just, albeit, into 10th. Well, Kabanka heading to the pits, going to fuel up, new tyres, chance to go once again. Wow. Now the drivers do have the extra option of here, where there's not the usual cold, hard, fast shuts like you get in the official series when it comes to qualifying. When the time runs out, that's it, done and dusted. As Simpson goes 7th. You do have, a bit of overtime. If you've started a lap before the checker flag comes out, you can complete it. I don't tend to see things change, but you never quite know. It's all about just getting that perfect run here at Phillip Island. And also picking up the slipstream. On board with Overstreet. Let's just stay on board with there. We'll get a feel for the lap around here. Those of you maybe newer to this track, I mean, don't really feature much, in the higher up series, but I don't get why, really. Fast flowing, always entertaining racing, but just making away out of MG, that tight right hander and then the double left hander of 11 and 12. You're just building that momentum. Well, heading into the pits as well, where you can lose again a lot of time on pit entry. And Overstreet, well, just dipping it onto the grass there. But can you imagine with the old off-track physics that we used to have previously before the latest update this season? Just where she would have ended up there, just skating across the grass. It would have been in disaster. We've got 1 minute left in qualifying to drivers to start their final lap. Quite a few people heading out again, although those people heading out of the pits, they're not going to get around again in time to start a new lap. As we're looking at around about a 1 minute 39 here. In fact, our top 18 all managing a 1:39. Keep an eye out for Matt Zerbs down in 18th. Antonio Reis just looping it around there. McConnell's just gone up into 5th. Good lap from him. currently got 4 Americans in our top 5 right now. There's who serves. 4.8k. Currently down in 18th, so a bit out of position based on his I rating. That'll be one to watch out for. Can he hook things up and get hit together on this final lap? Jason Green's just gone faster than anyone in Sector 1 as the checker flag is out. Final times coming in now. Is anyone going to improve here? Marnie and Tillo won't because they're on out laps. Green just having rounds now. Just run to the line. Has he got it all together? It was on a promising lap. No improvement in Sector 2 though, but as he crosses the line, is it any improvement? No, he goes slower by just under half a second. As Simon Ball then displaces him for 3rd. Green will remain on the 2nd row. But the Brit, well, where did he come from? He was well outside the top 10. And then just casually just puts it into 3rd place in the 2nd row of the grid. Great stuff from the Brit here in round 10. Really, really coming together for him. He's a driver that seems to have just come to light of late. Someone who's been around the Weekend Warriors for quite a while now, but I mean, if Rocket Racing is anything to go by, he is the David against the Goliaths and the Giants here. 2.4k is Ball. Sandwiched between Marnie, who's 6.4k, and Jason Green, who's just a casual 5k. The big numbers around him. Can he hold under racing conditions? Josh Soto, who's looked really good this season, both in the Formula 4s and the SRS that you'll see later on. Coming up in around about a couple of hours' time here on Apex Racing TV. And now following this broadcast, Tim Staino just casually putting up into 12th there. Good, strong result for him. And look, our top 3 in Spec 2 all starting one after another. 10th, 11th and 12th for Harris, Ogburn and Staino. They want to cross the line. We should be able to bring up some great results very, very shortly. Bit of a mention, just going on the channel right now, is the Make-A-Wish charity race. Make sure you head across there. Put in a lovely donation for what is an amazing, amazing charity. I'll be covering the race, well, in 2 stints. I'm, going to just casually pop along and add my voice between the 2 SRF, sorry, between the 2 Weekend Warrior races, and then after the SRFs as well. And that's the beauty of sim racing, isn't it? It brings people together from across the globe, and well, we all come together in such a great way when it comes to these charitable events. Let's have a look at the grid for this evening in the Formula 4's round 10 here from Phillip Island. Cabanca starting from the front row on pole with York Marnie, top qualifier in Masters, next to him. Row 2, Simon Ball at the depth, just getting it onto the 2nd row. He joins Jason Green. Overstreet and McConnell make up row 3, with Chris Simpson, newcomer, next to stalwart Jim Brewster with a solid lap for him. 2nd highest Masters qualifier. 4th below has Benjamin Harris, your leader in the Spec 2 Championship for company on row 5 and rounding out your top 10. With 2nd and 3rd in Spec 2 qualification, sharing row 6, it's Ogburn and Staino. On to row 7, Antonio Race, maybe a little behind where you'd expect to see him. He starts next to Richard Coffey with his teammate Alan Gassius and Thomas Renders showing row 8. Row 9, Nico Witcher, who's been on form, won the last 2 rounds when it comes to the Spec 2 standings as the German. Can he do it again tonight to make it the hat-trick? He starts from 17th next to Chris Murakami. Chris Montgomery has Matt Zerbs next to him to round out your top 20 in row 10. Miro Haratsky, who you'll remember from the SRF Weekend Warriors. Great to see him back, but this time he's come across the Formula 4s. He starts next to Josh Soto. Stevie Ray has Michael Nelson next to him on row 12 with row 13. Unlucky for some. Let's hope it's not for Tom Laurie and Paul Stevens. Jeff Saunders and Aaron Bradshaw make up an all-British row 14, with row 15 in top 30 being Gary Walbold and Philip Fernandez. John Toms has Jeff Cantor for company on row 16. Row 17, Chris Given, another newcomer, the Scandinavian Jimmy Littbacher. I hope I've pronounced that right. Good to see how you can get on tonight, Jimmy. Sandover Bruges and Karj Hansen Let's show row 18. That is, well, I was going to say row 19. Used to the massive grids here. And them just continuing on. Just casual 18 rows, 36 runners and riders. Although Karl Hansen has not taken to the grid, I see. And neither has Philip Fernandez. Now, Fernandez didn't have the best of qualifying by his standards. Something's happened to Tom Laurier for the start as well. Maybe a bit of a bump with someone, just expecting them to move away, and they didn't. There was a bit of a gap as we looked down from the high-up angles of the blimp to everyone getting away on the track. So it's probably what has caused that. So, I mean, what's it going to be like on this opening lap? Who's going to get the run? But not even at the final corner, because it all the way starts back at 11. Should the leader choose to go early? Is Kabanka going to back up the pack? Or is he going to wait right until the line, keep everyone hanging around? Or we're going to just see something in the middle. A relatively normal start. Just everyone making their way around behind the Porsche 911 safety car. Just heading down towards Honda right now. Now, this is always a bit of a hot spot for incidents, shall we say. You make it too wide through here, but it just really tightens up on exit, and that's if you get your braking right to start off with. The amount of times we see people, carry on or have incidents where they brake that a little bit later maybe than the car in front of them. Down into Siberia. You've got to really utilize that camber on the inside. They're sort of plan out a little bit on the higher side. Don't tend to see many overtakes through there. But then again, this is the SRFs, they're just as bad. This is the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors. You can expect to see entertainment and action in unexpected places. Quite often on the regular. This is going to be treacherous. It's where they're heading through now, through Lukey Heights. The car just, getting light due to the elevation there. Cold tyres could prove to be treacherous on the opening lap for a few of our drivers. So we're just heading through now. Safety car's going to be pulling in very, very shortly if it hasn't done already. Leaders, there we go. Kabanka just backing him up. Porsche 911 safety car is in. Let's get ready to go racing. Round 10. From Phillip Island in Melbourne, Australia. As we wait, Kabanka's leaving it late. And here come the lights as we are green. We are racing, and they stream down to turn 1 and already trying to make it 3 wide on the run down to 1. Is this going to end in tears? They're top 4 side by side, and they almost try to make it 4 wide, but they're making it through somehow. Balls catapulted himself up into second. Overstreet's picked up 2 into third, and Marnie and Green lose out. Meanwhile, down through the midfield, Sander of Bruges, what have you done? You're up 10-13 already. An absolute flyer from the Dutchman as he makes his way through the field. Everyone's got away cleanly somehow, some way. Fernandez has got going from the pits. That could prove to be a wise move. Meanwhile, up front, that's Simon Ball. Oh, he's out-braked himself, and all his hard work is undone as he looks to rejoin the track. As that looks like that's one Antonio Race just going a little bit wide there too. Toto and Toms have maybe a bit of a coming together as well. Into Siberia for the first time. Jeff Cantor falling through the order. Harris as well, your Spec 2 leader. He's well down. He's dropped 23 places down to 33rd. Not the start that he wanted. He needed it. Which is going to mean your leader in Spec 2. Wow, that's going to be David Ockburn. He's into 9th overall. Nico Whitshurt's had a great start, looking to try and have it started 17th, trying to keep that momentum. It's what the previous 2 rounds, looking for the hat-trick in Spec 2. As we build the momentum, this is where it gets fun, and they almost bang wheels as Antonio Race just elbowed out. Oh, there's a spinner. Who's that around? Oh, it's Catalyst for the big one here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as we look down from the blimp. What is happening here? And wow, that is claimed a lot of casualties here. Ball, Cantor, Stano, Zerbs, Haraski, Ray, Nelson, Bradshaw, Scriven, and Littbacker all gone out. Wow. A gutting for Simon Ball after putting it onto row 2, leading the race down into Honda, and now into the pits. And Philip Fernandez, starting from the pits, is all of a sudden starting to look like the wise move. So, Sitrep, what does that mean? What has happened? Well, Kabanka leads from Overstreet and Green. They get top 3 overall in Inspect 1. Marnie leads Masters, with Brewster up into 2nd in class. And Alan Pegasius 3rd and running out your top 10. Spec 2, David Ogburn leads. He's 9th overall. Sander Bruges 14th. Montgomery 17th. What's happened to Witcher? He lost a lot, lost out big time from that. I do wonder if he's carrying damage potentially. So there's John Toms making his way through. There is Witcher. Yeah, that's not looking too good. Yeah, maybe a bit of broken front right suspension damage there. And of course it happened well after the pit lane entry. So people just desperately trying to scramble and drag and haul their cars back around again. There goes Jeff Saunders, just casually passing him. Meanwhile, up front, Overstreet's taking control of this race ahead of Kabanka as she runs wide. It's almost like whoever gets to the front does not want to lead at this stage. And oh, well, how does she drift through the corner there, holds on tightly, somehow, some way, and retains the lead over Kabanka. We've only done 4 minutes, folks. We're a 10th of the way through. We knew we were in for the wild ride here at Phillip Island. It always brings the action, the excitement and the drama, and it's not failing to deliver here in round 10 of the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors. I'm forgetting wearing my jumper now. I'm all hot, all waked up. Josh has told me, our producer, he's trying to find images of exactly how things unfolded with that big incident we saw on the front straightaway. And here we go. So this is Simon Ball. Was he the catalyst that started this off? On board with him. Wow, so someone lost it in front. And he came flying in unawares. Cars strewn and stricken all across the track. Practically a roadblock. I think it may... I'm trying to guess here. Who could have been who started? I think it may have been Adam Bradshaw. Or maybe even Nico Witcher, because he was higher up through the field. There was someone with the orange paint, so it's maybe Richard Coffey? He's lost a lot of places from that one. Or maybe even Tim Stano. As Josh is thinking it's Tim Stano who started that one off. Let's have a little look. Yes, I think this could be the... Well, I say the culprit. Just got onto the grass on the outside. Turned him into the wall. He was just a passenger in that stage, and that's what started things off. Wow. And it's not even like you can really recover to the pits. Because when you're still being hit, and then you're stationary. Oh, and there we go. Bang, 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 bang. Car sent flipping, cartwheeling, catapulted into the air. And the damage ensued. So, let's have a look at where we are now. As Kabanka's retaken the lead from Overstreet. Not surprising, we're going to see a lot of that here today. The chopping and changing around due to the magic of the draft here. These cars not really known for drafting too much due to the lack of aero, but definitely do it. And certainly, what better place to do that than Phillip Island? A true draft track if there ever was one. And Sander Bruges, highest overtaker of the race, although highly benefiting from that incident earlier on. 21 places he's managed to gain, and talk about the slipstream, talk about the draft. There goes Overstreet, slingshotting away past Kabanka. But who's going to be the wise person? Who's going to sit behind? Who's going to fuel save? While lying in third, and he's remained there and not gone anywhere. Jason Green. Always one to watch out for when it comes to the fuel strat. What can he do? What can he do? There's Verbruge. Second in Spec 2. That's at least David Ogba, but right now embroiled in a battle with Soto behind Tom, Laurie in front. 3 different classes scrapping away here. In fact, Verbruge just coming under pressure here. Going to box in cleverly. Are they going to look defensive on that inside line? May even have a bit of a look up the inside of Laurie, and is going to get the move done. Bit of elbows out. Not too sure if they didn't touch wheels, and looking close like they were going to do it again. So they head through Siberia. For Bruges, one of the most improved drivers in the Weekend Warriors. Across both the Formula Fords and the SRS that we broadcast here every Sunday night for you on Apex Racing TV. And Bruges coming along, just hanging around at the back. Not too strong, but all of a sudden something started to click. Bad last season. And it's just been upwards ever since, although just both Laurie and Verbruge just drifting out wide there. Sote trying to capitalise, couldn't quite get it done. Don't worry, Josh. Coming in is a long, long straight. And you're going to be drafting all the way out turn 12, the last corner. Right on board with the young American. Have a look up the inside, feathering the throttle. Not too sure about what's happening. Whereas Tom Laurie says, no, hold on a minute, gents. I'm going to take control of this situation. Yes, to the front of this group as that's someone off. And I think there might have been other people collected with it. That's Adam Bradshaw. Was he the cause of that big puff of smoke there? Like someone had spun. I think it would have been, yes. Producer Josh Green with me too, so looking like the likely culprit of that one. Things just starting to quieten down now. Now pit window. It's about opening right now. Because drivers do have to take one pit stop. As we are limited on fuel, which forces you to do so. The longest we've ever seen run in the Formula Fords would be around about a 32-minute mark, one stint. It's incredibly hard to do so. And you have to have certain tracks where there's lots of fuel-saving opportunities in which to do so. They've got towards the 45, 46-minute mark in the SRFs that you'll see later on. So we're on board with Jason Green right now. And Chris Simpson on his debut, fastest lap of the race last time around. But just crossing now. Yeah, and he doesn't quite know. He goes slower this time, but he must have had the slingshot of his life because he was some 4 seconds quicker last time. No, sorry. Apologies, I've already put in for 136. It was 139.6. With number dyslexia clicking in there. And he's right in this pack here. Involving Kabanka, Overstreet, Green, Marnie himself, and then Michael McConnell at the tail end. Antonio Race, well, he's lost the slipstream and it's going to fall by the wayside. And then you've got the best of the rest pack as Marnie just trying to have a bit of a look there. Couldn't get it done. It's the next pack being led by Jim Brewster, Ford Tullo, DeGassius, Renders, Ogburn, who's your leader in Spec 2 involved in that one. So is Chris Murakami. And then we've got that Laurie Soto, Verbruge, and well, Chris Montgomery now onto the tail end of that. So 4 key battles to keep an eye on here. There's that tail end of that second group. See heading into the distance, Chris Murakami. At the rear of it, rear gunner. Renders has a good look into MG, a big dive, but it's not good enough. On board with him, wait for the slipstream to kick in here, folks. Through 11, through 12, a slight little lift mid-corner, just trying to balance that throttle and control that understeer that really forces you out onto that curbing on the outside. Which can be good, but too much of it does hurt you. And Renders, well, literally looking like he's going to sit there and makes a late lunge just to cover off Ogburn, who's making advances. Meanwhile, Degassis and Brewster go to battle for the lead of this group, and it's Degassis is going to take... No, sorry, that's Tullo. Just casually popping it in there, picking up a couple of places. Degassis actually losing out from that and dropping down a couple. There is Brewster. You can see behind Tullo right now, the Brit. Good to see him at the front. Well, for now, as Brewster just sends it down into Honda. Constantly evolving and chopping and changing. We've always saw it in the opening stages between Overstreet and Cabanca, but it's nothing like what we're seeing between this group right now. They are having a whale of a time out there. Constantly chopping and changing, overtaking in places that you shouldn't be overtaking. Jim Brewster trying to get it done round the outside, then backs out of it, and Renders nearly ends up into the rear of Brewster. Tullo still leads this group. Let's not forget, folks, this is the battle for 8th. The battle for 8th that's going on and involving what, 2, 4, 6, 7 cars. Bruce has just keep an eye on that battle behind them. Soto and Laurie still together. Bruce has dropped off a little bit. Cabanca's just taken the lead from, well, Overstreet, and Jason Green slingshots his way right to the front, taking the pair of them. Just looking like he's out for a casual Sunday afternoon stroll after a roast dinner. Breezing past. No stress, no strain from Green. And this is a strategy we haven't seen in an incredibly long time from Green, where he gets to the front and takes control. Normally one just to sit behind and fuel save and work that strategy. Meanwhile, on the attack in the background there, Simpson having a lunge. He wants a piece of 3rd place and heads past Overstreet, who now finds herself down into 4th. Just have a good friend, and quite often in race comms with her is Jorg Marnie. Those two need to work together. They need to evolve the strategy if they want to take on the drivers in front of them. You see, just from the inputs, the way the car's just dancing around and slipping and sliding here. Natural characteristic, and Phillip Island just really just brings it out here in these Formula Fords. So they wind things up again, out of 11 and through 12. 14, 15 minutes in fact on the clock. We get to do it once more. Who's going to take control this time around? And all this batting actually slowing them up slightly. It's allowing Antonio Racers to catch up to them. As here comes Simpson and Cabanca as trying to go 3-1 into turn 1. Green says, no, I don't want to be part of this. Backs out of it. It goes from 1st down to 3rd. Cabanca remains 2nd, but it's Chris Simpson. And clearly, 3rd place is the place to be on the run into 1. Meanwhile, Brewster back to the lead. Tullo squeezed out wide. Renders trying to squeeze up the inside there. It is going to put him on the outside down into Honda. But he's got it done. And for Tullo, down to 10th. Actually, Michael McConnell's, I think he might have had a little bit of an instant, bit of a twitch or something, because he's lost time to that group ahead of him. He's at 1.6 seconds behind them now. Just looking back from Renders. This lot having such a great battle, so much fun. In fact, losing time to Antonio Race, who had nobody to draft off of. He's stuck in a little pocket by himself. Oh wow, this is gonna, you get the feeling this is gonna end in tears at some stage for someone. They get so close as you like, through parts of the circuit. You just do not want to be doing it. But everyone pushing and shoving, egging each other one another on. Daring someone to push that little bit harder into the making a mistake. Meanwhile, Well, we're on lap 11, so I guess this makes it round 11 as we head down into turn 1. But this time it's just a 2-wide affair. And our top 2 swap around. It's Kabanka back in the leader from Simpson. And Green looking content to sit into third once more. No, apologies, McConnell hasn't actually dropped off the back of them. It's Antonio Race is actually gaining on them. So he's gaining about a 10th of the time. Renders, oh, something's happened behind them in that group behind. Brewster and Renders losing a lot of places and time. In fact, they've all split up a little bit. There goes Simpson ahead of Kabanka once more. Lovely little move down into Honda there. It'll hold on to it all the way through Siberia. Won't be left out in the cold here. Pun intended. But let's have a little look at what happened to Thomas Renders. Well, I said it was going to end in tears. They were all egging each other on, weren't they? Just to push that a little bit harder. And oh, Jim Brewster sent somersaulting through the air. Lands on all 4 wheels amazingly. 10 out of 10 for that one, Jim Brewster. But Renders into the pits. So is Brewster. But they've both jumped to the pits. Well, here we go, folks. We're back again to this group. And we're back again to that run down to turn 1. And it's Kabanka back into the lead once more. Or is he? Because Simpson, I tried to hold on a little bit. Now, we have seen the outside line in the SRS work into turn 1. Because if you can keep your car just alongside enough, it gives you the inside into turn 2, the southern loop. And quite often, you end up being more favourable there because there's not a lot of grip on the outside line through the southern loop. And you also get bullied by all the cars behind that just follow the inside line through, and it's so easy to lose so many places. To Siberia once more. We have seen some many crazy moves coming out of this corner already so far this race. We're going to see them again. This group a lot more orderly, shall we say, compared to the best of the rest group that were just having a massive go at each other every opportunity. It was pretty much a street fight here at Phillip Island between them. No holds barred. But complete respectful with minimal contact, if any. Well, until we saw the very end of it. That incident involving Brewster and Renders, who are yet to get going again. So far, retirements this race as well. We'll just look at this action right now. So there goes Brewster out of the pit, so he's got going again. Simpson to the front, Kabanka slots in behind. Marnie ahead of Overstreet, who, let's not forget, about 5 laps ago, she was leading on that run into Doohan Corner. But now to the tail end of this group. And it's Michael McConnell, the dark horse amongst this. He's remained at the back despite everything that has gone on from the 5 cars in front of him. Is he biding his time? Just playing the fuel save game? Or is he holding on for dear life? Let's have a little bit of a listen in. See if we hear any fuel saving. I mean, surely he's got to be down the front straightaway at least. Bare minimum. Because he's not making any attacks whatsoever on the cars in front. Has not gained a place at all since he started this race. Having started in 6th, currently in 6th. He's been there all race long. Bit of a feather the throttle. Looking all good right now. And this is where it's going to be interesting. We're going to get an epic view of what's happening. But oh, that is Simpson bailing. He goes early and he's the only one to go. Well, how's that going to shape things for Chris Simpson? Connell just falling back a little bit, but look at it. It's like he's biding his time deliberately, so he gets the run. But Antonio Race now, well, he's gaining. He's taken more time out of these guys once more, as Marnie now up into second. Green down to third. Well, I say down to third, I mean, effectively, Marnie's just displaced Simpson, who's headed to the pits. And Overstreet following through too. So Green down to fourth now. There's Simpson. But where will he be coming out? As producer Josh is saying rightly, seems to be taking a long time, and yeah, he's been stationary 28 seconds. That seems like an incredibly long stop. Normally around about the 13 to 16 second mark is what you're looking at in these cars, depending on what sort of strategy you're playing. So him at 28 seconds says to me, he's put max fuel in, and he is not going to be competitive when it comes out in the wash with everyone having taken their pit stops. Such a shame because, I mean, on his debut, he's British, you know, a bit of a lover for the home nation bias, but even so, what a great result that would have been on his debut in the 8 machine. Take victory here, but it looking incredibly unlikely. Kabanka unable to pull away, unable to make any impression on this group behind. As we head across the line once more, Marnie, this is going to be his turn to take control of things here at Phillip Island. Yes, it is. With a lifted coast from Kabanka to slot his way into second place. Everyone just zipping in together. So a bit of a scurry of activity here. Montgomery for Bruges and Harris, your leader in Spec 2 championship in, and wow, everyone scrambling for space here in pit road. So just as we're well over the halfway mark now, we've got about 16 minutes remaining of this race. Marnie leads overall and in Masters. The highest position overall for a Masters driver this season has been third. Are we going to see that duck break broken tonight? And it has happened quite a few occasions so far this season as well. But happening 4 times from the opening 9 rounds. 3 of them being from Marnie. No, apologies, 5 times even. Because Murakami managed their 3rd place overall at Willow Springs after that dramatic finish. Montgomery out. Harris just behind. And then for Bruges. So 2nd, 3rd and 4th in Spec 2. All pretty much lined up. No, apologies, of course, we've got Ogbert, who's a newer comer, not too showing at my end, but I know he's in 7th overall and leading Spec 2. I don't think he's going to be kept in that category for too long based on these stunning results. We're going to see a free wide here. Hold tight. Surely not. We are. Breathe in, everyone, as we head into Dewar Corner. Lovely stuff there. Overstreet now in charge. Marnie into 3rd. Wow. We've still got pit stops to go. Everyone running it as long as possible here. Degasius and Laurie into pit road. That Laurie just heading down. Now John Toms heading, the Canadian, heads into pit lane as well. So at the moment, looking like a 60-second stop looks relatively quick. Quite a few people 20 seconds in there. So Simpson's 28. I mean, it's very heavy still, but I mean, surely it's still got to be good enough for a top 10. For him, what with everyone above him, still yet to stop. It's only Jeff Saunders who's behind him who hasn't pitted. What can Simpson do? Can he pull off a little masterstroke here? Somehow, some way. It seems unlikely, but you never quite know in the Weekend Warriors. See the heat haze there. In terms of weather here today, it's not too bad. Ambient temperature 21 degrees Celsius, but 44, that's 112 Fahrenheit track temperature. So who's looked after their tyres? That's the next question we need to be asking themselves. There's Marnie into pit road. Antonio Race. His Masters, well, foe and friend. Heads in with him. Fortullo comes in from 9th. Soto in as well. Oh, no, Soto stayed out. Apologies. Just blinked out, making it look like he was coming in there. Marnie bouncing it off the rev limiter. He wants to get going as quick as possible. But he's going to be a real indicative time. It's a pit stop, so 17 seconds, looking like the time here today. Antonio Race with only a 3 tenths longer compared to Marnie. With Marnie not having any slipstream in front of him. Can Race close up to him? Be really mean? Can those two work together and drag themselves back up into the fight? Murakami will lose the lead of Masters after he has pitted. So it could come down to a last lap scramble for the win in Masters. Certainly going to come down to that for overall, I would imagine. There's Jeff Saunders, who, well, he was the last person to stop that was outside of the top 10. Gets going once more, so it's going to come out around about 19th place. Maybe 20th is Saunders. Actually, make that probably 21st. That's Cantor in as well. It says retirements here today. So currently on lap 17, we have lost Chris Scriven on lap 14. Are they still in the pit? So it could still come out. However, looking unlikely. Thomas Reynolds on lap 10. Bradshaw, lap 5. Hanson, lap 4. Witchett, who can't carry on his, well, win on his debut 2 weeks ago. Won last week as well. Today, retirement on lap 3. Matt Zerbs retired on lap 2, and Gary Warbolt on lap 1. Well, our lead group in. Kabanka out, but not out first, because Green's out first. And yet again, the strategy working an absolute treat for Jason Green. And he's come out with a 1.4 second lead. Now, if you've seen this series or not, when we've spoken to Jason Green, he'll be hoping, he'll be praying that Overstreet will lose time, get stuck into Kabanka. The Kabanka will get stuck into her, and they'll battle, and this will be a cruise to victory for Green. But with 10.5 minutes left on the clock, this could go any which way, and you know it will do as well. And Ogboard slow out of the pits too, so he's lost the lead. In Spec 2, Montgomery leads it, Harris second, Verbruge back on the podium. There goes Ogboard, so that's been a long stop for him. 56 seconds, that is why. Oh no, apologies, 36 seconds. Still long either way, whichever way you look at it. This is now your battle for the lead in Spec 2. Montgomery versus Harris. Montgomery not won since Alston Park. Round 2. And talking of Alston Park, that's what will be later on for the SRF Weekend Warriors. Of course, make sure you head across. I see you watching along now to the Make-A-Wish Foundation charity races happening on Apex Racing TV at the moment. Catch up with who've got on board there at the moment. It is Harris Smith and Ron Mounts. Could give them a bit of a shout and say Tim sent you. I'll be joining them later on after this broadcast. Brilliant charity and chance to check in and see how the fun and the festivities is going on over there as Marnie incredibly close. With the fastest lap of the race last time around. He's not hanging around. He knows he needs to get a wiggle on. And it's brought him to just over a tenth behind Kabanka. Is it going to be the lunge? No, it's not. Green has lost a lot of his time. He's only 9 tenths ahead of Overstreet, who's only 8 tenths ahead of Kabanka, who, as we can see, only has Marnie 2 tenths behind him. Marnie much tighter through the corner. As we said, who has looked after their tyres the most? Because with these high track temperatures, Tyre temp and degradation is going to play a part in the closing stages. But with only 8 minutes remaining, who will get it? Will it be a Masters driver on the podium overall once more? Or is it going to be one of the top 3 in Spec 1? Green, Overstreet, Cabanca. 4 drivers, 3 podium positions overall. Someone's got to lose out, and right now, the way that Green and Overstreet are pulling away from Cabanca and Marnie can sense that. He knows this is going on. He wants to get past Cabanca. And here he goes as Overstreet does the same to Green. She takes the lead of the race. Marnie takes 3rd place, and there's a bit of traffic coming up. And this might just give Jorg Marnie the chance that he needs to shut down that gap. It stands at a 2nd. As he takes a bit of time, as he darts into the corner out of these top 2. They're going to catch them around about Honda. Who's that they're coming out up in the back of? I think. There we go. Tim Staino. Josh has got it. He's there on the ball. And look at how much time Marnie has just taken out of Jason Green and Overstreet. As Overstreet clearly feeling a bit gingerly and a bit tentative. The fact that Staino is ahead. So they're now closed up, and we have got 6.5 minutes left. So we've got around about what, 4 laps at least, maybe 5 remaining here. If we go close, there could be some people running low on fuel. Could this actually turn out to be the wise strat from Chris Simpson, who massively overfueled compared to everyone else? Equally decent on fuel is Antonio Race, so keep an eye out for him. Although he doesn't have anyone to draft with. There's Staino, a sitting duck here. Where does he go? He needs to keep stationary. He backs out of it, and everyone just darts their way past. Green getting the slinks drop, not just off of Overstreet, but also off of Staino. And Marnie using it just to close that gap up some more. As off the track goes Jason Green. They'll reach you into the back of them. He might just be okay with this one. Wow, that could have been absolutely disastrous. But he lives to fight another day. Well, we know these guys are going to start battling. And as producer Josh has said, Marnie has got a really strong chance of a podium overall here yet again, to make it his 5th one of the season. No, apologies, to be his 4th overall podium of the season. On course for his 6th win of the season in Masters. Meanwhile, we're not just turned up and up the front in terms of battling. Also merging up and down the field in these closing stages. Degassi's just getting past Tolo, but Knife. We've also got this lovely little battle here. Laurie behind Ogbert and Verbruge, who are in a fight over the last podium place in Spec 2 right now. Ogbert, after overfueling and costing himself what looked like a clear victory in class today. That looking like he's now 3rd is going to be his best option. So he's fallen off the back of Harrison Montgomery because they all came out very, very close together. Meanwhile, we go 3 wide for the lead here at Phillip Island. Does Marnie? No, I was wondering whether he's going to leave it around the outside, just hang it there. He chose not to. Cabanca takes the lead. Marnie remains 2nd. Overstreet 3rd. This could well be Marnie's best chance of winning overall. Could also be his best chance of claiming a 2nd place overall. But here we go into the lead. You don't do it through there, Jorg Marnie, but equally Cabanca on that inside line, but has Overstreet to think about next to him. Moved on into Honda. Richie Coffey moves out the way there, wants to stay out of this fight for the lead. But equally, Jason Green would have been desperate, so desperate for him to just hold them up for a 10th or two. He's holding onto that slipstream with absolute dear life right now, but he's a second behind and he's realistically out of range. He just has to hope and pray these guys start battling in the infield. That last lap run could be Green's best chance of getting himself back up onto the podium. Meanwhile, behind Steno, Coffey and Littbecker have all had a bit of a coming together. Meanwhile, up front, the run to the line and Green's lost 6 attempts out of MG and into 11 and 12. On board with Overstreet. 3 wide again, folks. Let's find out. Kabanka goes to the left of Marnie. Here comes Overstreet. Where's she going to place her car? She does it on the grass to make it 3 wide. And that kills her momentum off and she has to slot back in. Marnie still holds the inside, but Kabanka swoops down from the outside to take the lead. 2 minutes, 15 left on the clock. Next time around, white flag will be in the air. It will be 1 lap left to go. Here from Phillip Island. Who's going to take it? Green is looking out of the equation. That gap at 2 seconds now. It's basically a 3-way shot between Kabanka, Marnie and Overstreet. Who finishes where on the overall podium? Who takes that victory? Coming onto that final lap, that run to the line out of 11 and 12. Normally your money's on the second place car, but they don't seem to be getting their overtakes done until the entry into Doohan Corner, turn 1. That's your leader in Spec 2, Benjamin Harris, and also championship leader Chris Montgomery, though not making his life comfortable. Montgomery wants that victory in class. As mentioned earlier on, Montgomery hasn't won since Oldham Park. In equal terms, this was round 2. Harris hasn't won since round 6, and they almost touch wheels into Honda. But Montgomery's ahead in scintillating style. He now needs to hold on. He's up 8 places overall. He's up 2 in class. It's the 2 Americans go to war after that position. And looking at the clock, white flag in the air, 1 to go here from Phillip Island. Kabanka on the inside. We look down from the blame. Marnie swoops down. He takes control, but it is so tight. Overstreet trying to keep her car just inside of Kabanka. Can she do it? They're side by side for second place. They almost touch wheels once more. They interlock wheels and get away with it somehow. Scintillating stuff, spectacular being played out as we look back from Marnie. Who's going to give this one up? Who's going to take second? Or is one of them going to slingshot their way into first? Overstreet goes to the outside. Marnie blocks and covers off that inside line. That's going to give Kabanka the run, the potential to take second here. But Overstreet still remains in there. Into Siberia. Digging in deep, everyone holding on for dear life right now. A Kabanka into third, but this is not done and dusted. We still have that run to the line to come. Oh, what a finish we are on for here in the Weekend Warriors. Yet again, through Lukey Heights, on board with Kabanka. Overstreet just drifting out a little bit wide. She likes to do that with the car. But look at how close they are. Overstreet a bit skatey. That held at Kabanka. Has that given Marnie just enough? Can he hold on to the overall win here? Can the Masters driver achieve it at Phillip Island? Out of the final turn. Here we go, the run to the line. Marnie goes to the inside, the shortest possible line. Everyone in the slipstream. Who's going to pull out? Here comes Overstreet. Can she do it? No, she can't. And York Marnie, the Masters driver, wins overall in round 10 of the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors from Phillip Island. Spectacular stuff. What a finish. And Michael McConnell, I think Jason Green only just beat him at the line by by what I'm showing here, by 100th of a second. Whew. Tagasius and Tullo just beat Tagasius there by 200ths of a second. Harris is having a run to the line. And he's beaten Montgomery, or has he? It's close as you like between those two. Harris, well, gets the run on Montgomery. 400ths of a second between those two. Bruges comes across the line. He's going to take 15th, the highest position climber up 20 places. Next closest, John Toms, 14. Well done, Sander Verbruge. Not good enough for the podium, though. David Ogburn's going to claim that one. Alongside Harrison Montgomery in Spec 2. Wowzers. And, oh no, John Tom's out of gas there. And that has allowed Simon Ball to sneak through. I mean, what could have been for Simon Ball? Started on the second row. He would have been in there with a fight at the end. If Chris Simpson hadn't have overfueled, what could have he achieved? Jason Green just about overcooked it towards the end. Let's have a bit of a chat to some of our drivers. First off, let's talk to race winner, Jorg Marnie. Congratulations. I mean, what a final lap. Just take us through it, my friend.
I can't breathe, sorry.
Well, I'm in the same boat as you. I mean, it was the three of you were swapping places, left, right, and centre. It looked like the slipstream was only really taking true effect come pretty much the entry into turn 1. Were you sort of like feeling a bit comfortable, seeing so you led for pretty much the entirety of the final lap, that if you could get to that spot that you'd probably win it at the line?
Actually, it's about 0.3, 0.4 seconds. If you have that gap on the last corner, you will not make it. And that's what I had in mind. I tried everything I could, and I just hoped, please don't overbrake on the last hard thing down the hill. I didn't, and then I saw, okay, now I got the chance to win. And on the last corner, I think I timed it perfectly. I went to the left instead of going to the right. So they were a bit surprised of me going to the left, possibly. And yeah, I'm so happy. And now I can start breathing again.
Yes. That's what comes of age, isn't it? You know, those wise old crafty old tactics to keep those young whippersnappers at bay. It worked today. I mean, the highest position, we've managed it enough. 5 times in the opening 9 rounds as a Masters driver, finished 3rd on the podium overall. Today, you've gone not just 1 better, but you've gone 2 better. The race win. I mean, wow, what a season you were having. I mean, surely you can't be any happier with how it's gone.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I'm just really, really happy. I haven't done any mistakes. I hold myself back at the beginning, not to do anything. I didn't actually fuel save because all the guys in front of me had about the same amount of fuel. They just told me on chat as well. And I think, okay, now it's time to get into the game. I started passing people. I got a little bit lucky once. I almost touched on the finish straight on the left grass, and that was quite difficult. And turn 1, I made a mistake as well, and I just lifted and I hope, oh, please don't go into the grass, and no, it didn't. So yeah, I'm just happy. I'm absolutely happy.
And let's just quickly, obviously after you came out, your pit stops, you're well behind what was Overstreet and Green, I think it was at the time. Do you feel disheartened at all? I mean, surely at that stage you couldn't envisage walking away with a victory.
No, definitely not on this stage, but I saw them, at least for once, I saw them closer than usually, and that made possibly some speed and more out of it. And I know what kind of lap times I can do on this track, and I thought, okay, I love this track, I'm quite stable on this track, and I can make to catch up again. And I got into the draft from Christian, and that was really great.
Definitely. Well, congratulations, Jorg Marnie. Not just a winner in Masters, but
thanks a lot, guys.
Overall.
Thanks a lot, guys, and good evening.
No worries, Jorg. Let's have a chat to, well, your winner in S1, not your winner overall here today. Megan Overstreet joins us now. Megan, I mean, wow, what a wild ride that was.
Yes, it was incredibly wild and intense there at the end.
It was, I mean, just from your perspective, just talk us through it. I mean, it seemed like just coming through out of MG, that tight right-hander, the 3rd to last corner, it seemed like you just had to check up a little bit, and that just killed off your momentum. Is that correct?
Yeah, just a little bit. I slowed down just a hair too much and didn't get as good of an exit as I would have hoped. It was still real close, though, there at the line, only 60 thousandths.
Yeah, you know, it's not too big a gap, is it? I mean, we used a little bit surprised. Jorg mentioned that he moved to the left just to try and do something different to catch you guys unaware. Did you? Well, did it catch you unawares, or could you work out that what he was playing at?
Yeah, I could pretty much work out what he was playing at. I figured he was going to protect the inside wall, or technically the outside wall, if you look at it that way.
Yes, I know what you mean. But I mean, before that, I mean, Choppy's changing around, first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, bouncing around that sort of area. I mean, had you got any sort of strategy in the earliest parts of the race in terms of how you wanted to play it, or was it just a case of just remaining in that group?
Pretty much remaining in the group as much as possible. Like I was trying to stay near the front just so I could avoid any possibilities of getting caught up in something. Because it's drive track, there's always a chance that could happen on a stack up during a break zone. But yeah, for the most part, I tried to save a little bit of fuel, so I didn't have to take as much during the pit stops. But I still took a little bit too much when I pitted. But I'm still happy with where I finished in the end.
Definitely. Well, congratulations. Winner in Spec 1, although not quite the win overall, but winner either way. Megan Overstreet there. Let's have a chat to another one of our drivers. Only got time for the winners tonight. As I put that off to another broadcast. Ben Harris joins us now. Ben, I mean, what a season you're having, my friend, and just another win to your name. And well, it's been a while as well, hasn't it?
Yeah. There's been some fast guys coming in recently in our class, so I feel very fortunate to actually be able to snag a win again. It was an insane race, let me tell you that.
Yes, I'm trying to remember. I think you missed out on. You were just in front of the big one that happened. Did you see that? But in your mirrors at all?
I actually drove right through the smoke of that one. Before that, lap 1, I went into a braking zone. I don't know who, but somebody came up way too hot behind me, took me out. I had to go out on the grass and just let everybody just by, and that really hurt. Then I come around the start-finish line, and I don't know, it's like confetti. Formula Ford confetti all around me. It's smoke. I'm just driving through the smoke, and got a whole bunch of freebies there, and just managed to get with some good guys later on, and we Chris Montgomery, we were drafting each other and just kind of put our heads down until the last lap, and just had a good race after that. It was a lot of fun.
Well, because at one point we did have obviously yourself, Chris, and Sandra Bruce. All three of you together after the pit stops. But I mean, do you feel a bit of comfort when yourself and Chris managed to drop Sander?
Yeah, I think he might have touched the grass or something. I'm not sure what happened. He was right there with us the whole time. Then just, I mean, with the guys who are racing, one little mess up, you lose draft, and it's just over after that. And like I said, after that, Chris and I were draft passing each other. So he really, once he lost that draft, he has no chance of catching back up.
I mean, we've got 2 rounds left, Ben. I mean, surely, I know a bit early to talk about it still, technically, but Road Atlanta, Road America, the championship, it's starting to look within a touching distance for yourself. You feeling like you can do it?
Possible. I mean, nothing's sealed, it's all up for grabs. It's just been a fantastic season racing these guys. It's been a lot of fun, and I feel fortunate to be up front, and yeah, hopefully I can hang on to it, but we'll see what the future weeks have to hold.
Well, all the best for you, Ben. Hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of the season with you being the champion. Good luck for that one. That's Ben Harris, your race winner here today, and also championship leader in Spec 2. But I was going to say that's all the time for. We need to run through the classified results very quickly. Before we head across, of course, going on the other channel right now, we have the Make-A-Wish Foundation charity race. Make sure you head across there. Support a great cause. And also, of course, coming up on the channel in around about just an hour's time, we'll be live from Alton Park for the SRF Weekend Warriors. But to run through things here, Yogmani taking the victory, not only in Masters, but overall. But he only did it by 600ths of a second. With Kabanka, it's Overstreet in second, taking that win in Spec 1. With Kabanka third overall. McConnell, despite finishing fourth, Spec 1 podium for him. Jason Green at the end there, running out of fuel, and look at that. 6,000ths of a second. McConnell beat Green at the line. tend to see that one from Jason Green at all. Antonio race on the podium in Masters. Simpson, then Murakami rounding out that Masters podium with Fullo and Tagasius rounding out your top 10. Then our top 3 in Spec 2. It's Harris Montgomery Ogburn with Tom Laurie 14th then for Bruges. Stephen Saunders Ball taking up to 18th, getting the Simon Ball having started on the second round of the grid. John Toms, Jim Brewster running out your top 20. Cantor, 21st last driver on lead lap. Then Steno, Fernandez, Ray Haratsky, Nelson on 1 lap down. Coffee 2 laps down. And then into the retirements. Littbacker on his debut. Sadly lost him on lap 21. Completed 24 laps here today. So on lap 16. Scriven lap 14. Lap 10 for Renders. Lap 5 for Bradshaw. Hansel lap 4. Whitchert, gutty for him, couldn't make it 3 wins in a row. Spec 2 retired the car on lap 4. Matt Zerb retired on lap 2. And Gary Walbolt on lap 1. As I mentioned, that's all we've got time for here today. Thanks very much for joining us on the Formula Fords. Stick around. Just go and watch the race from Le Mans for the Make-A-Wish Foundation on Apex Racing TV. If you can afford to, stick a bit of money towards that great charity. I'm going to head across now and give some insight and info to that one. But I will be back in about 50 minutes to an hour's time when we'll be live from Alton Park for the SRF Weekend Warriors. Make sure you join for that one. But from South, Tim Cox, Josh Wilkie, and Charles Bushell in spirit. We'll see you in a week's time. We'll be live from Road Atlanta. Thanks so much. Good night.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.